We'll get to the second question you wanted me to ask, and then I will thank you for your time, and we will shut the podcast down. But it is the craziest / oddest places you've ever wrestled. Do you want me to read the list, or you can remember the list? I'm sure.
Yeah, well, I can't remember the list. I'd have to think about it.
Okay.
Read the list.
Okay, NASCAR racetracks, big truck, exhibitions, state fairs, county fairs, prisons twice, sleaze bars, churches, high and junior high gyms, National Guard armories, a barge in Miami in Biscayne Bay, porno theaters, in front of a percussion orchestra in a performing arts center, rodeos at a soccer stadium in Trinidad, auto sales lots, Madison Square Garden, and NFL stadiums. Now, porno theaters.
Yep. It was just a theater that's years and years ago. It was, I think, about to shut down. It wasn't very big, and they threw a ring up there on the stage. And nothing was playing when we were there, but that's what the theater was used for.
Sticky floors.
And it was, oh my God, it was a horrible part of town. I couldn't wait to get out of there. And we had, it was just really sleaze all the way through. I don't know who booked me there. The other thing we got booked in, not only once, but twice, was 2 prisons. One was a federal, Atlanta Federal Penitentiary in Atlanta, and they put it out on the baseball field. And, like prisoners don't have nothing else to do, I guess. So I guess they just come out there and watch what we were doing. But I looked up, and it was baseball stands. And there was this one guy sitting up there all by himself, and he's reading the book or he's reading the paper or something. Nobody was around him. Nobody. He had the whole corner of the top grandstand up there. And I asked one of them, and you don't have guards with you, you have trustees. The guards are up in the towers. I'm thinking, well, hey, if these prisoners want to riot, they just got us. These trustees are not going to fight them. They got to live with them. So, but I asked who that guy was, and they said he was one of the top members of the Miami Mafia. I think his name was Trafficante. If you look the name up, he was a big deal. And of course, I didn't know who they were talking about, but I knew that him sitting up there by himself, people left him alone. Then the other one we had to make was a maximum security prison in Kentucky. I've had a lot of shit happen to me in Kentucky. Stopped by cops, going back to a prison. Man, you walk in, you smell the disinfectant because there's so many people there, and they search your bag, and then they put you on a conveyor belt, and you walk literally 12 feet, 15 feet, and they open the door and close it back. They search your bag again. They just searched it twice. Now they're going to search it again. Now it was going to where we had to go, and we were going to like a little basketball indoor gymnasium, and nobody was there till like 2:00. So when they rung the bell, here they come, and the place filled up. Now, keep in mind, I've never been in jail. I've never been in prison. So all this was new to me. So I look out there. You talk about segregated. That prison was, you see the Aryan Nation, the white gang over here. Then you see the black gang in the opposite corner over there. Then you see the Hispanic gang over here. And then you see the bad guys, the really bad guys, they're all huddled up. Then you see all the gay guys that are over there out of the way. And I'm looking out there, and I see this guy, he's about 6'9", and long hair, and had sunglasses on. For what, I don't know. We were inside, and it was cold that day. So I asked one of the trustees there. I said, "Hey," and I would point a guy. What's he in here for? Oh, he's in here for armed robbery. What's he in here for? Oh, he stole a car. He robbed a bank or whatever. But I saw this guy. I said, "What's he in here for?" He said, "Oh boy." They said one day he was a motorcyclist. He was a motorcycle gang guy, and his bike broke down, and a guy picked him up, and there was a bike dealer, a parts place in town. So they called the guy up and got him to open it up. It's like 10 o'clock at night. and he got his part, and then he shot the guy in the store, then shot the guy driving the car. So then he went out there, got back in the car, drove it, fixed his bike, and then drove off, and then went somewhere else and killed 3 or 4 more other people. So he killed about 6 people in a period of 2 or 3 hours. And he says that nobody even talks to him in the prison because his reputation is that bad. And I said, well, don't introduce me to him because I don't know him. But the wildest thing about that is the heels are the baby faces, and the baby faces are the heels. They hate the good guys, but they love the heels.
Just like Canada.
Well, I guess, but if I'd have went out there and I was wrestling the Fantastics, they were used to being cheered. They were booing the shit out of them, and they were all my fans. They said, kick his ass, Dutch. They said, throw him out here. We know what to do with him. And he was getting mad. So I put a stretch on him, and I reached down, I was grabbing the rope, but then I'd reach down and I'd pull his trunks up. Oh my God, they went nuts. I mean, that would just excite them, I guess. I don't know. And I said, now, Tommy kept saying, I'm leaving. I said, well, leave. I don't give a shit. If you want to leave, go back to the dressing room. Then I said, you better have that trustee going with you. They may snatch your ass. But anyway, we spent about 3 hours there that day, which was 2 hours and 55 minutes more than I want to spend. And then we got back in the car and we left. I said, I never want to go back. And I went back to the owner of, I was in Memphis. It was Jerry Jarrett. And I said, thank you very much for booking me in a hellhole that I never want to go back to. No, he thought it was kind of funny, but it was a good experience. Not a bad one, but I don't want to do it again.
What was the payoff?
Well, that one, I don't know, it wasn't bad. It's about $500.
Oh, that's not too bad.
That's not too bad. And it was a double shot. Then I would go to Louisville. And so I picked up, I made about $750, $800 that day.
Not bad.
That was when the business was good though.
I've got to pick up a couple more here. So you mentioned like state fairs, county fairs, National Guard armories, that kind of thing. A few that I want to just make mention of. A NASCAR racetrack. Now, some of these you can house like 200,000 people in. I mean, did they have to have
not that big? No, it was like NASCAR race there. They helped sponsor the track. They wasn't their track, but they had NASCAR drivers there. But this is what they did. They put me, a ring on the back of an 18-wheeler, just the frame. And they would put the driver in there and we'd get in, they'd introduce us. And what we had to do, we started wrestling. And we would go all the way around the track, first turn, go down the back stretch, and then come around to the final turn. And then wouldn't you know it, that the match would end right when we got right back in front of the middle of the stands. I wrestled Dirty White Boy, and we got on the back stretch, and he was beating the shit out of me because they had beer in the dressing room. Well, he was about drunk. He was beating the shit out of me. I said, God damn, loosen up. You're killing me. He said, it's good for the business. I said, shit. I said, the only one that knows you're doing it is me. They're too far away to see, so stop it. So we got back around, and this is also where I did this twice, but they had a race. They wanted the wrestlers to race each other. And they asked me, do you want to drive a car? I said, hell no. I didn't even drive up here. I'm damn sure not going to drive around the track. But I said, he will. And that was Undertaker. He was Mark. And Mark said, yeah, I'll drive. So when they took us out on the track, he was going to race Kerry Von Erich. So, and I asked the guy, I said, which one of these cars, and they had 2 cars that they picked. Which one of these is the fastest? He said, tell him to get in a black car. I said, okay. And then Mark came. I said, Mark, he said, the black car is stronger. He said, okay. So, boy, when they give him time to go, that Undertaker, he showered down on it. But he got to that second turn and he spun around. And then he was beating Kerry at that time. Kerry hit him in his back with the car, not really hard. Then went up there. He got out of his car, pulled Undertaker out, slammed him, got back in his car, and beat and won the race. I said, "Damn, I've never seen that finish before." But I said it was pretty good. Whose idea was that? He said, "Hell, it was Kerry." I said, "Okay."
Just two more that I'll pull up. Performing in front of a percussion orchestra. So what, were they playing the music while you were wrestling?
Well, it's percussion is drums. They had a drill about anything that's made a percussion. It was drums, and they beat logs, and that's on YouTube, by the way. And I wrestled Jeff Jarrett. You can go to YouTube and look it up. And that was the match they put in the Smithsonian Institute as a part of the some Tales of the Prairie or something. But it's a permanent fixture in the Smithsonian Institute. And I think that me and Sir Jeffrey were the only wrestlers in the Smithsonian Institute, unless they put Hogan or somebody else in there.
Now, you've claimed you've been in the Smithsonian Institute in 1971 after you wrestled like 6 matches, didn't you? One was a bear, one was a woman.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if you actually meant it then, but you actually are.
No, I am. You can look at you. And I tell you what I do. Next time we do this, I will bring the official letter.
I tell you what, if we can find the match, we'll watch it and comment on it. And the last one, Barge in Biscayne Bay.
Well, I've told that story that they have trouble with a building or something, athletic commission. So they said, okay, we'll just go around it. And somebody had an idea. Hey, you could put a ring on that barge out there, push it out a little bit. So you're off land. Therefore, you're not under their jurisdiction, and you can have your matches. And we can put 500 fans on it or whatever. And that's what they did. Then I ended up going into the bay. Hey, I've wrestled some crazy places, really.